The purpose of this presentation is to provide an update to the community on the Dual Language Immersion Program Framework. It was created by Elizabeth Harrington and Wendy Bermudez from the World Languages Office on December 1st, 2021. The outcomes for this presentation are to understand our task and the process, to learn about our work to date, to review data and research findings on dual language immersion in two different models, to learn about task force recommendations on how we strengthen the dual language immersion program at APS, and to understand budget implications. Why is APS engaging in a visioning process for immersion? Well, typically, dual language immersion programs engage in a visioning process every 5 years. APS policy on accountability and evaluation states that APS programs undergo a program evaluation. The APS program evaluation for world languages was completed in February of 2021 and includes data to inform our visioning process. The goals of the visioning process are the following: to conduct an inclusive and collaborative process, to ensure biliteracy and bilingualism, to align curriculum framework and adopt curricular resources for Spanish language arts, to ensure equity and access, to develop long-range plans, and to recruit and retain a diverse staff. It has been a collaborative process led by Office of Academics, World Languages Office, and Dual Language Immersion Principals, with support from Department of Planning and Evaluation. It is aligned with Instructional Programs and Pathways process. It includes Office of English Language Learners, Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer, Office of Equity and Excellence, teachers, advisory groups, PTAs, and families. We have worked with consultant Rosa Molina, who is the Executive Director of the Association of Two-Way Dual Language Education, and it includes formation of a task force in the spring of 2021 comprised of APS staff and community members. It has been a 4-year plan working to date with different dual language immersion staff. First, with planning meetings with principals, Office of Planning and Evaluation, Office of Academics, and Executive Leadership Team, to now working with the task force. This is the timeline for 2021 until 2023. Currently, the task force is working to create recommendations which will be presented to the school board on January 6, 2022. From February 2022 until August 2023, we will work on the coordination, adoption of resources, planning, and professional learning to implement the DLI program framework. On September of 2023, implementation begins with kindergarten and first grade. Here are the dates of the task force meetings, including the final presentation to the school board on January 6th. What is a task force? A district and community-based group charged with the review, redesign, and recommendations of an instructional program. The task force has a beginning and an end with deliverables. It incorporates dedicated internal stakeholders at the school, district office, and community levels. And it is charged with creating a dual language immersion program framework that is district reviewed and school board approved. It is not a district advisory. It is not an independent group advising the district, and it is not an oversight committee. Dual language immersion program framework is the why, the what, and the how. Once approved, we move to the implementation details. Here are the members from the elementary schools. Task force members from secondary schools. and central office and community liaisons. We've had various community engagement, first with a letter from PTA parents who requested that the district engage in a revisioning process for the dual language immersion program. We've had virtual community meetings in January, in October, and November. We've provided updates to the DLI community through School Talk and provided updates on the process on the Engage page. Our why. Here we see results from the elementary STAMP test, which is administered in 5th grade. It is a test that measures Spanish proficiency in reading, speaking, listening, and writing. The green arrow shows where students outperform their peers, and the yellow arrow shows where students underperform their peers. Students who come to us speaking Spanish at home underperform in reading when compared to speakers of other languages or English, but they outperform their peers in speaking, listening, and writing in Spanish. When the test is administered again in middle school, we see that Spanish speakers are underperforming their peers in reading, listening, and writing. Here we see cohort reading data comparing English learners and non-English learners in non-immersion and dual language immersion. We can see that our English learners who have been in a dual language immersion program start to outperform their peers in reading in grade 8 and in reading in 11th grade. Currently, APS implements a 50-50 partial immersion program. Studies demonstrate that Spanish proficiency levels are not as strong in students in 50-50 programs compared to students in 90-10 programs. Our goal is to be an 80-20 model, or early full immersion. Students demonstrate strong academic skills in both languages by 7th and 8th grades, closing the academic gaps between English and native language speakers in this model. What will elementary full immersion look like for elementary students? In kinder, first, and second, 80% of the day will be taught in Spanish and 20% in English. That 20% equals 60 minutes of English language development or English language arts. In third grade, 70% of the day will be in Spanish and 30% in English. That 30% equals 90 to 95 minutes of English language development or English language arts. In fourth and fifth, we will continue with half the day in English and half the day in Spanish. The task force recommends moving to a full immersion model in elementary school, maintaining the current courses in middle school, and increasing the number of available courses in the immersion program in high school. Here's what the implementation for the full immersion rollout will look like. Years 0 and 1 will be used for planning for 20 months. And in year 2, the model will be implemented in kinder and first grade. When we get to year 6, the 80-20 model will be implemented in kinder, first and second, 70-30 in third grade, and 50-50 in fourth and fifth grade. Staffing. Implementation of this model will require staffing changes. Here are the implications for grade level staffing. In year 1, it will impact 4 teachers per school in kinder and first grade. In year 2, 2 teachers per school in second grade. In year 3, 2 teachers per school in third grade. and there will be no impact for staffing on years 4 and 5 for grades 4 and 5. The goals for staffing are to intentionally hire bilingual and biliterate staff in anticipation of full immersion, to work with embassies and secure international candidates who can teach content in Spanish. The following are the program recommendations from the task force. Recommendation 1. Realignment of existing dual language immersion from a 50-50 partial immersion program into an 80-20 early full immersion program starting in 2023 with grades kinder and first. Recommendation 2. Expand access and retain students in the dual language immersion program through the secondary level. That means expand access and develop a clear program pathway for both elementary schools with a centrally located option for Escuela Key, and increasing course offerings at the high school level. Recommendation 3. That APS fund the Spanish language arts core materials for all dual language classrooms. Recommendation 4. That APS secure funding for a well-designed assessment infrastructure that is aligned with program goals, instructional objectives, and language and literacy standards for both languages of instruction. Recommendation 5. That APS secure or earmark funding for a well-articulated professional development plan for all teachers working with dual language students in grades K to 12. In order to do that, we have to investigate funding streams for professional learning. Recommendation 6. That APS fund a district DLI coordinator to provide support to all 4 schools and help coordinate the program elements, as well as a Spanish reading specialist in the elementary schools. Next steps. On December 7th, the task force will meet to review the DLI framework. Also in December, there might be a second community meeting. On January 6th, the recommendations will be presented for board approval. And from January of 2022 to August of 2023, the what and the how will be delivered.